Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, and my friends. Today we're going to be talking about SF6 Viper for Street Fighter 6. So Sagat's been out for a little bit now, and obviously, hey, Viper is the next hot character on the horizon for Street Fighter 6. And just like Sagat, hey, she's a character that's been in games before, so we think we know what's up, but do we? Like Sagat, you know, he's still very much Sagat, but he's had some changes in the transition to Street Fighter 6, and that's kind of whatever. But Viper's a little bit different. Because Viper, frankly put, might be too hard for Street Fighter 6. Now, Street Fighter 6 certainly isn't one of those, dumbed down fighting games. Like, there's plenty of hard stuff in Street Fighter 6. Like certain combos, like you have to cancel on a certain active frame or the combo doesn't work. Like, there's hard stuff, but Street Fighter 6 hard stuff is like super edge case and usually only matters at the absolute highest possible level of play. Crimson Viper hard stuff was the baseline to play the character. If you couldn't do the hard stuff, don't play the character to begin with. It's a very different barrier to entry. So simply put, I don't think Viper is going to survive into Street Fighter 6. Like, she'll be a playable character, she'll have a lot of the moves she has, but like the same style of play, I don't know. Now, we might not have terribly long to figure it out. So Capcom will be at the Tokyo Game Show this year, and Street Fighter 6 is going to be one of the games they're showing off. And near end of September feels about right to get the Viper trailer going here, the gameplay trailer. Like, it'll still be a while before she's actually out, but the timing feels about right. And a bit outside this specific video, but Tokyo Game Show is also where we're getting more Virtual Fighter news, so I'm very excited for what's going down at Tokyo Game Show in general. Gonna be a big day for me. But that's almost a month from now, right? So we gotta work in the present. So let's talk about Viper. So for one, this is one of her alternate outfits. You can see Sexy Scientist is sort of what they're going for as the baseline in Street Fighter 6. And I'm very sure her outfit too will be her more classical costume. And let's talk about what's likely for the character. Like, she has a lot of traits to her. That's what makes her a really cool character. Like, hey, she can super jump like an anime character. You can't super jump normally in Street Fighter. So she can do a lot of weird things. And I expect in her Street Fighter 6 version, she's going to have a lot of unique traits. And by the standards of Street Fighter 6, will probably be a more difficult character. I feel like a lot of people would frankly feel betrayed if she wasn't. But it certainly won't be to the extent it was in Street Fighter 4, and well, let me explain to you why. So that said here, before we get into the really nitty-gritty stuff, right? She has a lot of traits. What do I expect to stay in, and what do I expect to kind of heave-ho? So, Super Jump. Once again, Super Jump is a core part of the character. Super Jump, I figure, has to stay. She's one of the most mobile characters in Street Fighter 4. And that's saying something, because there's some mobile people in this game. So I expect some kind of super jump to be in Street Fighter 6. Maybe it won't be as high or as far or as whatever, but I expect it to be in the game some way, some form, somehow. Now, super jump canceling, that's a big one, because this is where some of the more advanced techniques come into play. Some of it makes sense. Like, say if I do Seismo. Seismo, I can't do anything with Seismo other than let it recover, except I can cancel Seismo into super jump. Right? So certain moves can be canceled in the super jump, and that helps with the character identity. Like, say I do Seismo here, right? Okay, so I can do that, and then I can super jump cancel it, and like, oh, hey, that brings me kind of close, right? And then I can cancel that into a burn kick. So it's a combo. Okay, like something like that I expect to stay. And of course, there's the concept of Seismo itself, right? Seismo is her ground pound. At the time, it was a it was kind of a novel trait, right? Like, I don't got to worry about travel time. It happens where it happens. So it doesn't conflict with like the traditional Street Fighter projectile game. And like in Street Fighter 6, like we have JP. JP has stuff like that. So like the Seismo itself is nothing. And Street Fighter 5, Macali had, so like it's here to stay. I don't anticipate that going anywhere. It's the stuff like this, which we'll talk about later. That's the stuff that's not going to make it into Street Fighter 6 unless they want her to be the best character in the game and by a lot. Another cool trait she has is certain moves, like say the Seismo, or say her knuckle attacks here. She can take these moves and cancel them early into a feint. And it's exactly what it looks like. Like, am I going to do the move or am I not going to do the move, right? And kind of freak out the opponent, like, am I going to go for it or am I not going to go for it? I expect some kind of feinting to be in the game, because once again, that's part of the identity. You don't got to give her the broken stuff off of it, maybe a more Street Fighter 6 sanitized trick. You don't get to give her what's in Street Fighter 4. Because once again here, the stuff in Street Fighter 4 is a little bit stronger than stuff in Street Fighter 6, and we're gonna get into it. But basically, some of the stuff that makes her very difficult, right? Super jumps, seismos, feints, to a degree, I expect all that to be there. The one other trait she has, I definitely do not expect her to have, is defensively, she's actually a powerhouse. She's actually super strong. Like, this is back in the day when you didn't have to spend meter for your invincible reversal, right? So heavy knuckle is like, it's like an uppercut, right? So it's invincible. Back in the Street Fighter 4 days, you didn't have to spend meter on invincible moves. But the problem is, like, okay, you know, people have a Shoryuken style move, whatever. She's got a lot more than just that. So this is regular invincible, sure. We have Burn Kick. Burn Kick's another classic move, and it'll definitely return some way. So the thing with Burn Kick is it counts as airborne on frame 1, which doesn't mean much on its face, but does mean as soon as you press kick, you are immune to all throws. Because you're airborne, you can't throw an airborne enemy, right? And this matters in a lot of matchups. That you can just wake up, hit the button, you're immune to throws. And that's kind of jacked up. And then you have EX Burn Kick, and EX Burn Kick is also full invincible like Heavy Knuckle. So she has 2 full invincible moves, which once again, sort of low-key messed up. Most people just, well, most people don't even get the 1 sometimes, right? Like, and she's got 2, and a throw immune move. And then we talk about Seismos, right? EX Seismo, on top of being a pretty good move, is also strike invincible. So you can throw it, but like any basic button press, like you'll go right through it, right? And that's also messed up because, you know, once again, full invincible, strike invincible, like that's a lot. But because it's a Seismo, it's also cancelable. So I can do my EX Seismo and just cancel the startup, right? And the cancel will maintain those strike invulnerable frames. So I can just wake up like this, right? And that's just strike invuln. So if you tried to like hit a button on my wake up for like a meteor or whatever, I just wake up invincible and then I can throw you or hit you like whatever I'm gonna do. So she has way too many defensive options. So that's gonna go. She might have, you know, spin bar, full invincible move like a lot of characters do, sure. But that's gonna be the extent of it. She ain't getting all these fun little cherry on top options. And some things involving that super jump we talked about, like, they're not terribly, like, they're good skill moves, right? They reward you for a skill-based interaction of the game. I don't see they're too powerful, like Burn Kick. Because once again, you're airborne, right? And it is an air-okay move. So you can super jump, right? And you can put the buffer in a certain way, like it's quarter circle back kick, right? So I can go quarter circle back kick, and if I do it fast enough, then hit up forward, that counts as me doing super jump. Because it just cares that it read the down, then the up forward. So I'm like, oh, you're doing a super jump. And then I'll just, after doing that, very slightly delay hitting kick. And instead of, say, regular burn kick, where you can see here I'm doing heavy, has like a very distinct arc to it, right? So again, regular versus super jump cancel. And because you're like way lower to the ground when you start, it can like affect the frame data and all that kind of stuff. So like, that's a good skill-based technique thing. You know, it's no different than like Kami Tiger Knee dive kick, right? It's the same kind of idea. You're doing it as low to the ground as possible. So like a technique like that, I can see surviving in the Street Fighter 6, no problem. Now let's talk about some of the stuff that probably shouldn't be in Street Fighter 6 for good reason. And it's part of the stuff that makes it really hard. Okay, so we got that, right? Like, what kind of nonsense is this, right? So we talked about Seismo, we talked about super jump canceling, right? And how I can do any Seismo and then super jump cancel it. So what I'm doing there, and this is, once again, if you want to be serious about Viper, that stuff is base entry. This isn't like highest level Evo Grand Final stuff. If you want to play Viper in Street Fighter 4, this is like a basic thing to learn. So you need to be able to Seismo, super jump cancel the Seismo, and then cancel the super jump cancel back into the Seismo. And then be able to do that 3 to 5 times in a row. Because that's like a building block of her pressure. Now, once again here, look at Poison's life. This is a game with chip, right? Like, look at the life and look how much chip she's taking. This is like 10% of her life just in chip alone, right? And Viper in any given match can do a just ridiculous amount of chip damage just off making you block Seismos. Like, if it hits, all the better, yeah, right? But if it doesn't, oh well, I don't need you to interact with me. I'm just going to be doing Seismo after Seismo after Seismo, because I'm Seismoing, I'm super jump canceling the Seismo, and then I'm canceling the super jump cancel back into Seismo, add, repeat, infinitum. And like, this is not the easiest technique in the world. There you go, I screwed it up, right? It's not the easiest technique in the world. You need very specific timing. You need a very specific like input button method. It's harder yet because I'm doing this on an all new controller right now. So give me my props for that, right? So yeah, generally if you want to do this, just in case you want to boot up Street Fighter 4 and try it out yourself, do Seismo. And then when you're doing Seismo, do another Seismo and then end in up forward. And the game will basically take that as you're trying to do like you're doing Dragon Punch motion, but doing an up forward. And since there's a down in Dragon Punch motion, it's like, oh, you're super jumping. That's all it cares about. And since you're allowed to cancel the first frame of the super jump into another special move, then it'll read you as doing a Seismo. And once again, it is not the easiest technique in the world. It will take you some time to do it, but that's kind of the trick to it. Once again, you can do this 3 to 5 times on road, depending on spacing, depending on where the enemy's at. You can kill the enemy just purely with chip damage over the course of a long match. So I don't think she's going to be able to do rapid fire Seismos. Imagine JP doing Pillar like 3 or 4 times faster than he already could right now, right? They're not going to let you do that in Street Fighter 6. Another thing is feint combos. So we talked about how she can do various moves and she can like feint them out early, right? So this gives her specific combo routing that's one, difficult to do, and also turbocharges her damage, because she has the famous Fierce, Feint, Fierce. And that basically lets her link Fierce into Fierce. Like Street Fighter 6 barely lets you do medium in the medium. Only a small handful of characters can do that, let alone Fierce into Fierce, right? And for Viper, like, once again, this is a base level entry combo. And if you don't know some of the particulars, it's very difficult to do correctly. Like, I spent way too long back in the day learning this character. I learned all the hard stuff, and then I found out, oh, I don't like playing her, and I went back to T-Hawk, right? Back in the day, I spent too much time learning this stuff, and like right there, I'm using an advanced technique. I'm negative edge feint canceling. I'm hitting crouch fierce punch, and then I'm holding it, and then I'm doing the motion for Thunder Knuckle, and then letting go because it'll negative edge Street Fighter 4. And then I'm canceling the negative edge, because for me, that's how my brain works. And then I can do that. And then see, I still screwed it up that time, right? And then I can get my Fierce Feint Fierce in, right? So like there's layers on layers there. And it's a level of difficulty and speed for your hands that nothing in Street Fighter 6 asks you to do, right? So there may be feint combos. Like I could see something like this. Like I'll do Fierce Feint, and then it'll let me get like a jab afterwards, and then go jab, medium Thunder Knuckle, or something like that, right? So the combo would look something like that. It's not a combo in Street Fighter 4, right? But I can see something where I can do a heavy feint cancel into a light, get a small combo off of it. But like the big boy stuff with like Fierce into Fierce, like unscaled damage, don't see that persisting in the Street Fighter 6. Especially with the strict windows needed. Like I expect all this to be quite a bit easier in Street Fighter 6 if it's allowed at all. Could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know. But another thing, we go back to super jump canceling, right? Because super jump canceling, as we talked about here, let me do super jump off, say, you know, for Seismo. You can do a lot of things with super jump canceling that normally aren't allowed in Street Fighter 4. Like Street Fighter 4, it will let you go into a normal, into a super move. That's fine. But it will not allow you to go from a normal into an ultra. That is not allowed. That's too much, I guess you could say. Like, I can ultra all I want normally, sure. But you can't do a regular normal into an ultra. Like, the game will let you do combos in an ultra. Like, that's not forbidden or nothing. But, you know, you need specific juggles or whatever. Like, it'll let you do that fine. But because of her various techniques working together, with, say, Fierce Feint Fierce into super jump cancels, I can go into a regular normal, like crouch heavy, right into my ultra, and that's a natural combo. So, like, a lot of her stuff lets her break the various rules of the game. Oh, these are all very strong techniques, right? and they could persist into Street Fighter 6 in some like watered down form. I don't think it's going to be 1-to-1, because like Viper was like frankly never intended to play this way, and the fact that like only the smallest handful of people could play her at the highest level was very telling, because their execution demands were just a whole nother level compared to what was expected of fighting games, even at the time where things were a lot harder than they are now. Generally, like everyone had one frame links, all that kind of stuff, and Viper was still a step beyond. Now, all that said, we could get some hints for her in Street Fighter 6 from some other places. Like Street Fighter 4 at the end of its life, Ultra Street Fighter 4, had Omega Mode where they changed a lot of things. And Ultra Street Fighter 4 was Viper's last appearance. Ain't in no Street Fighter 5, so this is the last version we have to pull from. And there's some things different about her, like close medium kick knocks down. I don't think that's going to matter. But like stuff like her just regular forward throw, right? They really emphasize like the big blowback, all that kind of stuff. I expect that like visually it's going to be a big part of her. Because like we have the tech toys, we have the shocking, we got ground pound, we got fire, all that kind of stuff, right? But like part of the deal is like her suit, her tech toys give her superhuman strength as well. So that might be a more played upon aspect of the character. Because we know some of it's in there, like the shocker, right? The shocker, that's in the World Tour trailer. Like we already saw, like, so she's definitely going to be using her techno gloves for electricity at a minimum. And on the Thunder Fist note, like we already have a lot of the classical Thunder Fist attacks. They gave her new like electricity based attacks with punches in Omega mode. Like it's a big old gut punch, just like the forward throw is, because they're reusing animations, because this wasn't meant to be a high budget deal. But yeah, so like a lot of like fist based electrical based attacks, like turn her into Street Fighter's version of Raiden almost. I don't know, but like there's a lot of EX, or a lot of rather electricity based attacks. So I expect that to be doubled down upon more than likely. And more flame attacks too as well. So they gave her basically a big inside out kick here. This is Omega mode only. So punches are electric, kicks are fire. And I imagine that kind of thematic deal will go onwards into Street Fighter 6. And of course, I expect some all new stuff as well, right? Like not every answer for her will be found in the past, because they're going to reinvent the character to a degree. No, she hasn't been around in a long time. And this is the time to reinvent her if you're ever going to do so. So while we get some ideas in Omega mode, to be sure, like, expect all new stuff. Now, of course, I should add, she's not only in Street Fighter. Like, obviously, Street Fighter 4 is, like, kind of where she came from, and that's her last Street Fighter appearance. But she was in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Now, to be perfectly fair, she's very much just a Marvel version of the character. And, that ain't no bad thing, but, like, it's basically what you can see in Street Fighter 4, just amped up big time, right? It's mostly the same supers. Like, I always like her level 3. Maybe some version of this might persist in Street Fighter 6, who knows? The one thing is, on top of super jumping, because super jumping is normal in Marvel, she can also air dash, which I don't think is gonna be a thing in Street Fighter 6, funnily enough. But she did have one very unique trait in Marvel vs. Capcom she did not have in Street Fighter. And, well, behold! Optic Blast. So she always has those cool shades, cool tech shades, right? And cool shades means either you're Bret Hart or you have special powers. There's no in between. And for Viper, she has special powers. So this is a negative edge move. Hold the button, let go, and you get a blast. And I don't know if they'll give her a full screen beam, because that's a little much for Street Fighter. But like a more traditional projectile on top of like ground pounds, if they're daring, if we want like a more mobile JP, maybe that's something they could introduce into the game. Who knows? So that's just some thoughts on Viper. I feel that she has the potential to be pretty different from the base version we all remember from Street Fighter 4. Like, Sagat's different too, yes, but like he still evokes Sagat very well. Will this version of Viper evoke Viper in the same way? Like Alex, I expect them to play Alex pretty straight. Maybe he'll have like a new wrestling move or two, but like he'll still be Alex. And Ingrid's barely a character to begin with, so I feel like she's going to be a clean slate, and they're just going to basically, other than the fact she technically existed before, they're making a new character with her. So Viper, is going to be the really interesting one of the four, just because we do have a baseline, and yet I feel that baseline other than like she'll have some of the same moves, like almost nothing's gonna work the same. But wait and see, I guess. I figure Tokyo Game Show is going to be the likely place where we'll get her first gameplay trailer, and we'll get a very good idea from that, and we'll see where we're going. So we're just kind of speculating at the moment. It's one of those deals, I don't think she should be as hard as Street Fighter 4 straight up. People don't want that level of difficulty anymore, other than a few like crazy folk, right? For the general public at large, it's good that she's easier. Just, even though she should be easier, still make her a bit harder than everyone else, because I still think people want that. But till then, we'll find out come the time. Anyways, so that's just my thoughts on the matter, and that's it for the video. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.